Welcome to Job Skills Share. What is Job Skills Share? It's a platform where you can learn, teach, and share your job skills. So, since we are talking about real stuff, you can see my hand, it's real, okay? So that's why the video is going to be a little shaky. You might hear some noises and stuff, but that's okay because we want to provide something real. So, what are we going to show you guys today? And what are we going to share something? Today, we will be sharing another video of imaging servers, and we are going to be using Crucible WDS. It's a pretty neat software. I mean, I have tested it out and I love it. So far, I'm loving it. And what it is basically, it's a free open source solution for computer cloning / imaging. Remember, we just made a lot of videos about imaging. This is another one that will make you really happy. So what is this is an alternative to semantic ghost solution that are pretty expensive, and also Acronis Snap deploy. You will see these kind of solution in universities and colleges. People use this stuff, okay? What can you do? What kind of system can you use this for? These are all the systems right here. And then on the bottom you will see what features. We have all the features right here. So this is the feature that I really like, the PXC or Pixie, whatever you can call this. So here's the thing, we did a lot of videos about imaging, right? We did the USB type of imaging. We did another backup solution that kind of provide solutions some type of it, like your backup we did. I mean, it's not total imaging solution, but it does provide like a little bit extra stuff, or the things you do. So here's an option. This one right here is specifically for cloning and imaging. So the target of this software is definitely for like IT guys who deal with imaging stuff. So that's why it has more. It's more built towards imaging side. Okay, it will have like a multicast, single cast, and all that stuff. You will see that when we do the real demo for you guys. But before I start anything, I just want to say thank you to this guy. I mean, the developer of this site made a tremendous amount of work to do this, and the documentations and to follow the directions. Man, this is so simple. That's why I love it, because imaging comes. Usually we have other imaging solutions, but they don't come with this type of documentation. So we have to really appreciate that. So you just basically go to the site right here. This cruciblewds.org. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing this right, but that's the site right there. Okay, so if you go here, I'm going to go in. So that's the site right there. So if you go there, read everything. Make sure you read it, because when you read it, you will find out more about imaging. If you're a new student to imaging, you should really read this, because it explains things in a very easy way, and also in detail. So when you click on this little tab on the top right here, you will see things right here. News, forum. So in our video, if there's an issue that came up and I can't fix it, or something is going on in your system, you definitely want to go to the forum, because I'm not an expert in this. So I really like the software. I have to share with you guys, and then you guys can use it the way you want to. But if there's an issue, you might want to go to the forum, and it will help the developers out too, because there might be a new issue they want to fix. So download is right here. Live demo, that's pretty cool. They also came up, they give you a live demo, so you can go and actually look into things. So let's just go quickly look into demo. Now again, if you are a person who knows this stuff and who wants to see this in real, you might want to forward my video a little bit where I start really actually downloading this stuff. So right now I'm just talking for my learners, for my students, to kind of understand things without messing their systems. So here's a live demo, and it's when I log in, actually when it will ask you for username and password, the username is cruciblewds and the password is password. Okay, and then you will get to this page. Now here you can see, you can click on host. You will see the hosts that are added. They're all demo hosts. You can't do anything with it, but you can just like create more and delete something. You can click on groups right here, so you can learn a little bit from here too. Images, that's when you start the imaging process, you need to create what type of imaging are these. You need to give it a name. Then once you upload images to the server, it will come right here, show you the size of the images. You can add more users. Let's say you are an administrator, you don't want to give this admin account to someone. You can create more users in there. you can go to the admin side and change the image path. I mean, if you have another image path, you don't want to use like a default image path that usually go to C drive. So you want to change that. You can change that. You can change the server IP address, key for ISO, CD building. So you can do that. And then they will give you different options. What kind of mode do you want to use? So what I did, I kept everything default because, like I said, I'm not an expert in this, and I didn't use it in a production environment or did like real jobs on it or something like that. So I don't know too much about it, but I'll show you how it works. It's super easy, but there are little limitations to it. So let's go back to the documentation right now, and the documentation that you want to look into is 2.3.0. Okay. Super documentation and super easy. So first it goes by what it is, then it tells you, basically it tells you what it is, and it tells you exactly what is this, what type of software is it going against right here. So you can see this right here. What it's not a backup. So it clearly tells you that it's not a backup, okay? And then it gives you the system requirement. I mean, I'm not going to go through this. You guys will go through it. It's using Server 2012. Now this is what I'm using too. Now here, guys, a lot of you guys, if you are new to IT, you're not gonna get hold of 2012 server. Now you can download this for free if you have a 64-bit system. Just Google Server 2012 R2, trial or download. You will see the ISO. You can download that. But in reality, because we talk about real stuff, at home you don't use Server 2012. And if you're working somewhere as an entry-level IT person, you won't be able to use this type of stuff because that's more of server administrators. They have more control over it. So if you're in an environment where you are entry-level IT, you might want to ask for a testing server for yourself, or you can download one and trial because it gives you 120 days for free. I'm not even sure if it's more than that now. But yeah, you can get that and you can download it and then you can try out this. Whatever I'm doing right now, you guys can do that. You have other options here, which I'm not using any other ones because the video, it has its own video and they've done this on Server 2012. I have done it to 2012 and it's really super easy because of the DHCP and other things that I'm going to go through right now in a second. But you can use the other ones too right here. It's going to require you a little bit more to see the documentations when you Windows 8, Windows 7. I didn't try that on because I know if it says limitations, then I know there's going to be issues with it. And then it gives you the clients, what kind of clients it will support, and then it gives you all this stuff right here. Okay, all that stuff you need to go through. I mean, it's important because if you are going to be using something like this that will wipe off data, that will take the data from one computer to another computer over the network, you need to know what's happening. You just don't want to go there, upload, deploy, or do things on a real network. You want to do this on a testing environment. So that's something I just want to warn you guys before my learners or students, they try this out, okay? If you're doing it at home and you don't care about the computer, then just go for it and test it out. There's no worry in that. But just make sure you don't do this type of stuff when you're working somewhere. Okay, let's go back. We are going to go ahead and download it now. So click on download. And then you get this options right here. We're going to be using this one, 2.3.0.exe. I'm going to click on it. And I'll just wait for download to show up. So it's downloading right now on the bottom. I already downloaded it, so I'm going to stop this and run the one that I already did. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and go to my downloads and find Crucible here, and I will run that and I'll say run it. Now I'm just gonna minimize everything so you guys can see everything, and I'll say next, and I want to do a new upgrade on this one. I already installed it, so maybe I'll find something right now, but here is the IP address that is asking for you for IP address. So you need to know what IP you want to use. The best way to do this, actually I forgot to tell you guys. So what you want to do, if you have 2012 server installed right now, this is going to be fresh system. There's nothing I did in this server. I'm doing everything from the scratch. So the way you are going to be doing this, if you don't know what your IP address is, go to cmd command and type ipconfig, okay, and then basically look into this information right here. So if you have this IP address right now, 10.0.0.15, and then the subnet mask, all you need to do is to go to your right click on this little computer sign and go here, click on this internet adapter, and then basically go to the properties and go to IPv4 and go to properties, and this is where you put the same information that you get from the CMD. So the same information, you just drop this right here and put your default gateway right here and just say okay. And that's going to give you, it's going to make sure that that's a static IP, and this is where you want to use that IP then. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to put this IP address right here. And then you give it a password. Now here's the thing. It tells you right here, complexity requirements applied to server 2008 and 12. So don't put something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not going to work, and it's going to error out. It will start the process and it will error out. So you don't want to do that. Actually, I did it, so because I wasn't reading directions. So I'm going to put a nice password here and just say next. And I'll say I agree. Make sure you go through this. I already went through the first time, so I'm going to say next and install. Now while this is installing, I'm going to talk about some things. The reason we are doing this is because of the Pixie boot, because sometimes you might be doing a lot of computers at the same time, and all you have to do is you can just change the boot section to NIC, network card, and all of them will have all the images in a very quicker way. And this is very useful when you're working in a lab environment or working with a lot of computers. Even on one-on-one computers, it depends how much time you want to take for taking images and doing all that stuff. Just a good solution, just to have something, and it's open source for free, so you can use any, like I said, you can use other other operating systems, just work around it, see if you can fix some of the issues if they have. So yeah, you guys can do that. So you will get this little black screen, and it will just do its thing right now. It's setting up my SQL username and all that. It's all automated. It's just amazing how it's you don't have to do anything with it. And now a lot of the other software that I worked on the server side, you kind of do things. A lot of it's pretty manual, and this is like all self thing. So I'll just show you guys how easy it is. So while it's downloading, let's just talk about some other things here. Completely automatic imaging. This is the reason why I'm doing this, and it gives you the simple web interface. I think from down on, from this section all the way here, that's why it's going to be beneficial for the last imaging that we are covering right now, or the other software that we were using. Now other softwares are also cool. It depends on what situation you are in, so that's why you guys should really look into this, the options that it provides. So let me check if I'm missing something here. Okay, it's almost done. So let's go back here. Definitely go to the forum. Let's check that out. In the forum, people like me and you who want to test this software, and if they have any issues, they will come and say, I'm having an issue with the deployment section or uploading section. You'll put it right here. I'm having an issue in booting section, so you'll come in right here. So you can just put it right here. If you have any issue, just come to the forum and shoot it out to them. Okay, let's go back in there. So we had only one issue, and that was updating database, which we didn't have any. I mean, maybe when I installed it again, I had that issue, but let's go ahead and restart this and see what happens now. Alright, so we're gonna log in right now, and we'll put the password. So we're going to put this password right now and then check it out if our web is working. Okay guys, when you restart your computer, you just need to click on open the browser, and I already have this in my computer, so it's going to be localhost slash crucible WDS. That's going to be your IP address slash crucible WDS. That's after restart. So you're gonna click OK, and you're gonna see the login and the password screen. The username is Crucible. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, but if I'm not, that's fine. Crucible WDS, and the password is password. Okay, and now we are in the screen. So basically, front page has nothing, but it's really good. I mean, I love the graphics over here, so good job. When you click on host, you will see nothing in there. This is where you add the host right here, create new host, and you can create groups when you do like a lot of, let's say you have a HR, you have an IT department, you have some other departments, you can create groups for them. And you can create images right here. So you can create one image right here, then add it to the host and stuff like that. You have tasks. That's something that we discussed in the beginning. So you know what, let's do something. There's another thing that you guys need to when you're running this on 2012 server, make sure you have a DHCP running. So because this is something important. Now in reality, if you are a new IT support, you won't have access to DHCP servers and stuff like that. So that's something probably you need to talk to your network administrator, or if you work with someone, just ask them to change these settings that I'm about to change right now. But if you're in a testing environment, so go ahead and do the same thing I just did. Make sure you don't do this, well, like I said, in wherever you're working. Don't play around with your DHCP servers and stuff like that. You will mess it up. So what are we gonna do? We need to turn on our DHCP. So go to the server manager. I went on the bottom right here, and go ahead and click on tools, or you can just do it from here, add roles and features. Then what you need to do is click next, next, and click next. And remember, this is not a server class, so we are just doing this thing just to make this thing run. So yeah, this is nothing to do with servers yet. We're just playing around with it. So DHCP server, click on that. I clicked on this DHCP server, and then you click on add features, and then you click next, and just click next, next, and install. So once it's done, you can just close this. But to do this, I'm just going to take you guys back, and here's the chapter 2 in new installation. When you go to documents, you can read more about why we need DHCP server, because remember, we are only doing this for this option in this video. But if you want to, if you don't have a DHCP server, you don't have this step, then you need to go for this step right here, ISO, and we showed you this right here, that all you can, otherwise you will need to use the client ISO. We already did that in, for a different type of solution in imaging, so that's why we're not doing this part again. But if you really want to use this without a DHCP, then go to site right here, go to the main site. Let me see if I can go back in there. So if you go to the main site and go to the video right here, in this video you will see there's a video right there. If you scroll down, actually I'm doing the same process here, and I'm going to be using this option. And also in this video you will see the other options like using in-demand and everything. Luckily the guy who made this made a video and also showed us everything on a virtual system. So if you want to do this in a virtual box, I'm doing this on a rail system, but if you want to see everything on a virtual box and all other features and how he did the ISO and stuff, you might want to check this video out, okay? So now we're done with that. We have made our DHCP up. We need to go up. We have a little needs to be configuration. So our DHCP needs to be configured. So let's go and configure that. Now this is not a real way to configure DHCP. Like again, we are not doing anything on the servers. Like this is not a course for server. So alright, so when you open your DHCP, we need to create a new scope. So basically what's going to happen that when these clients, they get started from the Pixie or NIC they will look for the DHCP server, and this is where they're going to grab that IP address. Now again, this is not a DHCP course, so just play around with it, make it work. You don't need to be an expert in here. Make sure you don't do this on your work environment. That's what I'm saying again and again. You guys don't log into your servers and try doing these things. If you mess it up, that will be a big issue. So do this in a testing environment when you have a server that's not connected to a domain. This server is on a work group. So all I need to do is to just create a scope here. What do you need to do? Basically, click on the IPv4, right click on it, click on new scope, and click next. I'm just gonna call it WDS. Click next. And here you just need to find out your IP addresses. It's pretty easy to do that. You can just go to CMD ipconfig. Okay, and easy ways to do it this way. So you know these are the IP addresses you're getting. So and these are IPv4 addresses. Now you might see something like 198, something like that, and that's what you need to figure out. What do you want to use here? So basically, I'm going to use starting IP address would be like, for example, from 10.0.2, and then I'll just say ending would be something like 10.0.0. I'll just say 30. Here you'll change the subnet mask to 255.255, and then 0 is fine. And how you find that is when you look into this black screen and say subnet mask, and you can just put the same addresses. Now it tells you type the IP address range that you would want to exclude. If you want to exclude a single IP address, now you want to exclude the server IP address because that's something we don't want to. So you will just put the server IP address, and the server IP address is the same address when you do IP config and you see something like this, 15. Remember we did the static IP address. So we'll just add it and click next. Leave everything default. We're not doing anything with DHCP right now. No, I will configure it later. Or let's just do yes, configure it now. To add an IP address for a router used to client blah blah, actually add your gateway address here. And that's going to be this one. So that's right here. So if you go all the way down, you will see it right here on the bottom. Parent domain, you can specify the parent domain. There's nothing we have right now in that, so we're just gonna say next. Server name, or you can just put the IP address of the server. We need to do that. We'll just put 10.0. And some of the information is just maybe I'm just adding it. It might not even be needed for this, but if you follow this, it will work for you. And then you can say you want to activate the scope, so you say yes, finish. And you see right now there's a blue little icon on it. To get rid of that, you just need to right click, deactivate, yes, and then say activate again, and see now that went away and it's green now. That means right now that when we start up the client, it should be getting the IP address. So now what's gonna happen? What we need to do, we have our system up and running right now. All we need to do is to get a computer and start it from our NIC and say, hey, go ahead and look for the IP address, the 10.0.15 of the server. And then what do you want to do with that? Let's do that. So here's my laptop, and you guys can see me too. Hello. And I just need to turn this on right there. And it has a Linux Ubuntu right there, and we need to see if it can be done now. I am just going to shut it down. Not a good way to shut it down, but I don't care about this machine. Okay, don't do this. Don't do this at work. Okay, so now when you turn it on, you just do this. And let's boot it up, and we need to look for, so F12 is the key that it will look for, and you tell you right here PXC, and then it looks for the client MAC. This is the MAC address of this machine. So if you had to add this client to that server, you can also do it from here. Now you will notice this, it's not looking for IP right now. So what you need to do is you need to restart your server, and I'm going to do this in the background right now, and you guys can see I just need to go ahead and restart this server. Go ahead and restart. So when you restart your server, you'll find this out, this little icon right here when your server managers comes up. But if you don't see this, you can just click on the bottom right here, the server manager, and then you will see that again in a second right there. So you click on this. So you need to complete the DHCP configuration, and you just need to say commit. And now the status of installations indicated, blah blah blah. Restart the DHCP service on the target computer for the security group to be effective. Okay, so we're done with that. So after, when you're done with this step, you need to go back to your DHCP, and this is where you need to basically go. Then you need scope options right here, configure options. Okay, you need to go all the way down to 66 and 65. So 66 is going to be your server name, the same server address. It's going to be 15, and then 67 is the boot file. It's going to be pxeboot.0. Okay, that's 0 right there. And then you click apply, and then you click OK. So now what's basically telling that anytime the computer looks start from a PXE boot, your DHCP server will basically start your server from this server, and then will provide an IP address to it. So now what's going to happen, watch, if we go back to our system and try to restart it and do the same process, we should be able to get a boot from this server. So I'm booting this machine again, and I'm going to click F12 to start from our network. And if you have Dell, you might be using some other way to boot the system, but you need to boot the system from your NIC. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, so now we have few options here. The option that I really like is this one right here, the add host. So from here, you can add the host to the server very easily. So you just need to click add host, and it will do its thing right now. Okay, so you will get all these numbers and everything. Downloading core script from the server. You will see complete, and the host name. So you can enter a host name to register. So we'll say Linux test. Let's say enter. So it's added to our system right now. So now we can manage it even from the server just by doing that. How cool is that? So if you go back to your server, let's go back in there. And if you go back here, let's go back, turn my server address. Okay, so it's Crucible, and you can change this information from admin side. WDS password is password. Alright, so now if you go to your host, there you go. Everything is added over there. The MAC address is added. We can say, you can check it. We can assign an image. Now, if you want to add an image from here, you can do that. So that's up to you. You can do this from. But what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do everything from the client side. I'm going to add this whole image from the client side to this server. Let's go back to our computer again. So right now it's asking me to reboot. I'm going to go ahead and press enter to reboot. So I'm going to start it from NIC again. As you can see, this is going to pick that address again. It's pretty cool. Like now it's working. You know it's working now because when you get to the screen, you get 5 seconds. So move away from that, and now we already added the host. What do you want to do now? On demand is the best option here. I love this. Okay, so then it will ask you for username and password, which is really cool because if you didn't have a username and password and somebody just go and start uploading images to your server, that won't be cool. So, but it has that ability, so which is really cool. We'll do the same username and password, Crucible, WDS, and the password is password. Login successful. So it tells you that, what do you want to do? Do you want to deploy? Do you want to upload, multicast? What we want to do is upload. We want to upload this image to the server right now, okay? We'll click 2. Do you want to use existing image? We didn't have existing image at that time, so what we need to do is just we need to click 1. Enter an image name, say Linux image. Oops. And we'll click say yes. So now what's going on right now, it's looking for the hard drive in this system and saying that, you know, I found 1 hard drive, 2 hard drives, looking for all the information right now, and it'll tell you, okay, we found 2 hard drives or 1 hard drive, now we need to upload it to the server, okay? And this is where it can run into a problem, or things can be good, or you just need to do a little bit more into server, but we'll find out in a second right now. Now guys, remember, this is a very basic setup without me even doing any customization or anything like that. Now definitely if you guys read more documentation in details, you can make this a little bit better, or because I see the upload might be a little slower, but if there's a good way, or maybe the developers or someone jumps in and say, hey, you need to change this file and this will make it really fast, so that will be awesome. At this point I haven't done too much into it, so this part is taking time, but a restore process is extremely quick, and I'll show you guys that also after when I upload this image and when you show that it went to the server. Now we have the image, this computer got messed up or something happened to it, we can redo things from that image again. I'm going to show you guys that also, okay? Okay, and then you will get this message, but make sure you guys are patient when this thing is happening because it takes a little time, okay? And then you will see this right here. It will tell you time remaining this much, and this is the speed that is going through. And then I'll show you on the server right now what's happening on the server. If you come back to the server and you click on tasks and show all tasks, it's going to take a second. Usually it should show up over here. If you don't see it, then we just need to work on it, but the task should show up over here unless I'm doing something wrong. But there's 2 ways. I guess one of the tasks, maybe it's not showing up because you have to create a task from here and then it shows up, but I had a feeling that when you add a system and when it creates a task, it basically adds itself, but maybe that's not the same case here. Alright, to show you something else, when we did the on demand and we added the image, it basically comes over here to the image, and then you have it tells you that minimum client size is this, and it will this will be compressed on the server, so it will be less than 36. If you click on that, you can see some more information. Visible on demand. So that's, if you uncheck this, you won't see this on demand. If you basically go there and say, you know what, I want image that is already on the server, but if this is unchecked, you won't be able to see it. This is a good way to, let's say you have some special type of images that you don't want to see or make it available on demand, or you just want to make it when you want it, you can just check this box. Protected would be more like putting a passwords and stuff like that. And also to show you guys where basically it's going to get saved on your server, you can go to the admin, and when you click on the admin, you'll have the IP address right there, and this is where the images are. So the whole images are on this path and the other ones are in this path. So once it's done, it will basically go to this path right here. You can change these. I haven't tried that yet, but you can certainly do, I guess, if you put the different ones. Okay,